Financial inclusion landscape in Nigeria presents us with both great challenges and great hopes. I mean, only about 29% of adults have access or have bank accounts. About 3% have mobile money accounts, and 3% have non financial accounts. So, starting by this reality, certain organizations have made it their responsibility to deepen the financial inclusion in Nigeria, especially among the poor. So today I'm going to be having a discussion. Of course, my name is Aditeke Laolo. I'm going to be having a discussion. Um, we're going to be talking COVID-19 and the informal sector. And joining me in this conversation today is the Executive Director, Micro Enterprise at Bank of Industry. Please join me in welcoming Toyin Adeniji. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us. Introduce the BOI and some of its activities in the MSME space with emphasis on informal sector.
The Bank of Industry, as you know, is the foremost development financial institution in Nigeria. And as such, we work across all sectors of the economy. So from large enterprises to small and medium enterprises and also micro enterprises. And so this is a space that we are very, very bullish on. In 2020, the Bank of Industry was nominated to receive the African Bankers Awards, which is an award given for being the most impactful development bank in terms of the products that it rolled out in that year in Africa. And so we were recognized based on the work we had done in the MSME space.
How does the Bank of Industry help to mitigate the impact on micro enterprise?
Now, in terms of the pandemic, what has it done, or what has the bank continued to do? To relieve some of the pains that these small enterprises face in this due to this pandemic. So the bank has immediately looked at the moratorium. So rather than pay back immediately, they're saying pay back, take 3 months off, take 6 months off, just to give you time to just sort of get through the pandemic before they start paying. One of the things that the bank has also done is to reduce the interest rates. So we have dropped interest rates by at least 2% across board.
What steps need to be instituted by the public and private sector to build back better and help the informal sector withstand future shocks?
What has to continue is that we need to continue to make sure that the sort of public-private partnership, the stakeholders are all engaging together to ensure that the environment allows these entrepreneurs to thrive. We have to continue to make sure that there's empowerment and even skills training to also redirect their skills to really understand how they can thrive better. We also have to make sure that the funding is available to make sure that they have funding to continue to even maintain their businesses and then able to grow it.
What type of resilience building policies and interventions need to be considered for MSMEs?
Interventions like empowerment, training them, maybe not to use very sophisticated web programs, but just training them to how do you pay with your phones? How do you pay digitally? How do they use their mobile wallets to sort of transact business? One of the things that BOI has done recently is we're working with what we call trade, should I call them trade aggregators? So these are these are sort of structures that work with thousands of micro entrepreneurs.
So business closures as a result of the pandemic have reduced, with Jeep clients reporting an 18% reduction in November versus 57% in August. Do you expect to continue to see improvements, and does this make you optimistic about business continuity for MSME?
Oxygen. So when your body is not working,
and as it recovers from the effects of the pandemic, I do see a period of some growth. As we'll find, because we've had time to also build some of these very business-friendly policies that will help some of them to cluster. I just talked about the case of trade aggregators that work with thousands of traders. And so we're going to see a lot of these clusters coming up. We're going to see a lot of these very sort of creative innovations coming up by way of funding, by way of reach, by way of empowerment. And so I am quite optimistic that we will see improvements in some of these innovations.
With increased digitalization efforts as a result of industries adapting to the pandemic, what investment or interventions, as you may say, would you say are critical to ensure the poorest members of the society are not left behind?
I think if I was going to focus on one single thing, most sort of the important thing is, I would say, just recognizing that the whole sort of digitalization behind financial inclusion, behind financial empowerment, behind reach, in terms of deepening that reach or widening that catchment, is very, very key. And I think one of the things we saw again is with micro entrepreneurs, the whole touch and feel is greatly reduced. So we need to ensure that we enhance the digital connections for this space.
So there are concerns that Nigerians below the poverty line and in our informal sector will have no access to COVID-19 vaccines. What impact will this have on their ability to build back better? And what would you suggest as mitigation measures?
It's very clear that this is a disruptive situation, and they are also, just like anybody else, looking to the end of it. So they are aware of it. And I think, in terms of information, we just have to continue to use these channels to continue to disseminate that information. And like today, fast forward to today, today when we do have a vaccine as a solution to help manage the spread and the increase and the disruption, I think we have to use these same channels.
Surprising why you're taking cognizance and paying so much attention to MSMEs. I mean, they're like the backbone of every developing country, and so it's incredible the work you're doing. So thank you very much for this conversation. It was quite insightful.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Thank you.